What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined as always by my dad, Sean. And today, at Reactions to the Classics, we got another top 10 list, one of my favorite series that we do at the channel. And today, we're going to get our prog rock on because it is going to be the top 10 songs of Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, who we will just refer to as ELP for the rest of the video.
We will.
Make it easy on us there because we'll be saying their name a bunch. But this comes courtesy of suggestion from our patron, supporter, and friend of the channel, Osmond. So Osmond, always appreciate what you bring us, brother. And
yeah, thank you.
Looking forward to diving into this one. Before we do, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Hit that big red subscribe button. We upload a top 10 list, at least one every single week.
Yep.
You can check those out on our channel as well. And if you'd like to support the channel in any way, you can check out our Patreon page down below. But anyways, I guess we'll get into some of the quick facts and formation of the group, and also a bit of what Osmond said about composing this list.
Yeah, exactly. First off, I'll say, Trey, I don't think I've ever heard any ELP.
See, I don't think I have
that
either.
I know of.
So that'll be interesting too, because usually on these we've at least heard some big hits.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to read a lot of what Osmond said. I'll read most of it at the end because he told us we try to keep these things to an hour mark. So he said the biggest challenge was to keep it to the hour mark.
Right. Yeah.
He tells us the things that he didn't include, but I'll put that in at the end so I don't spoil the list for you. And he says Emerson, Lake, and Palmer is probably not everyone's cup of tea, but I think they deserve more recognition in hindsight than they actually get. Yes, they might be too pretentious at times, but they were really good musicians and have some cracking songs. They were also the first prog supergroup consisting of former members of the Nice, King Crimson, and Atomic Rooster, and they helped bring prog rock into the limelight of the early 70s. And Trey, I've got some more info on them that I'll let you go into.
That's right. They were formed in London in 1970, consisted of Keith Emerson, who's the keyboardist. Then we have singer, bassist, guitarist, and producer Greg Lake. Greg putting on a lot of hats.
Yeah, he is, man.
On this one. And then drummer and percussionist Carl Palmer. They have 9 gold records in the U.S., pretty impressive, and an estimated sales of 48 million records worldwide. So it's a lot more than I would have expected.
Yeah, me too.
Man. That's pretty darn stout. And they were one of the most popular and commercially successful prog rock groups of the 70s, with a musical sound including adaptations of classical music with jazz and symphonic rock elements, dominated by Emerson's flamboyant use of the Hammond organ, synthesizer, and piano. Lake also wrote several acoustic songs for the group.
And here's how they were formed. Keith Emerson and Greg Lake met in December of '69 when Emerson's band The Nice and Lake's band King Crimson were billed together for a series of concerts at Fillmore West in San Francisco. Emerson was looking to form a new band. Lake wished to leave King Crimson. And when Emerson and Lake decided to form a supergroup, they initially approached drummer Mitch Mitchell, who was at a loose end following the breakup of the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Mitchell suggested a jam session take place with himself, Lake, Emerson, and Hendrix.
Ooh.
Though the session never took place, it caused the press to report rumors of a planned but abandoned supergroup named Help, which would have been great. Lake later debunked this in 2012, but who really knows? After several unsuccessful tryouts, Emerson was close to searching in America before he asked his manager, Tony Stratton Smith, for names of good drummers, who suggested Carl Palmer of Atomic Rooster. Great name for a group as well.
Oh, that is.
And previously The Crazy World. So we're about to get into it. We will not have the music in this video, but if you want to check it out, there's a link below where you can follow along with us. If you just want to see what we think, just stay tuned right here.
Well, the number 10 song on this list is going to be From the Beginning, from the trilogy record from 1972, written by Greg Lake. Went to 39 in the U.S. and was their highest charting single there. Wow, there we go, man. The song was originally intended for King Crimson's debut album, In the Court of the Crimson King, a great record in its own right, but band leader Robert Fripp didn't think it would fit into the album's context.
Wow.
So we'll have the lyrics pulled up as always. Enjoy this track and then give our thoughts at the end. So thank you again, Osmond.
Thank you, Osmond.
Let's get our ELP on. All right, from the beginning, beginning off this list, I think this was I don't know if Osmond did this intentionally, but I think this was a great introduction, because it definitely, obviously the end had that prog rock kind of sensibilities, but this was, I can see why this was their highest charting single in the States, because it was a bit more accessible, probably.
That's a great way. That's exactly what I was going to say. I don't really have much else to say. That's what I was surprised that it wasn't more prog rocky, for lack of a better term there, and I'm sure there is a better term to use, but yeah, it's basically acoustic, and then I got a little proggy at the end, but
and I probably will be saying this a lot, but Greg Lake, very impressed because, bass line was really good. It had some great guitar work.
Yes,
and
for
that
sure.
outro, obviously, he wrote the song. He's doing vocals. We had Emerson.
Greg's putting a little overtime.
Yeah, we had Emerson come in at the end, getting that kind of spacey vibe with the synth coming
Yep.
up in here. And I do like the message of the track, too. Just, it seems like our protagonist is a bit tinged with regret,
Yep.
thinking of stuff that he should have done or should not have done as well. And the chorus notes, you see, it's all clear. You were meant to be here from the beginning. I kind of like that message. That
I do too.
No matter what you've done or haven't done, hey, you're still here for a reason. Still meant to do something. And whatever is done, as as the track noted. But good way here to start us off. And this won't be the last time the trilogy record is going to appear.
It will not.
And now we're going to go to another song that's a bit short and sweet, only 3 minutes. We got number 9 on the list, A Time and a Place.
From Tarkus in 1971, so just a year previous.
All right, well, let's see what we got here. A Time and a Place, though short and only 3 minutes, they made sure to pack a punch on this one.
They did, and it was obviously instrumentally there for me, and then he was just all in on those vocals, very strained, very just going in. I think this is more prog rocky, especially in the lyrics. I mean, the lyrics don't make a ton of sense.
No, definitely
Very abstract.
Yeah, abstract and you stole the phrase. Yeah, abstract, man. It's just kind of like.
I mean, whenever you say sleep in a dream of buttermilk cream, you dance on a beam, dancing on a beam.
No, that was the verse that really kind of cracked me up a little bit. Again, it's it's just heightened since the vocals here.
It was almost a manic, not quite manic, but almost a manic, just like a
Greg Lake
sped up.
coming in with more like a hard rock, kind of vocal delivery here. And from the jump here, Emerson has more of a highlight here than he did in the last track. Obviously, he had a little organ solo in the middle there. I know we noted at the start that he likes that Hammond organ, and you could definitely tell that here, man. I think this is a good primer for maybe some songs we'll get here in a little bit where the instrumental really kind of breathes a little bit. I'm liking the way this list is constructed so far, man.
Me too.
We're easing in, and I'm looking forward to what else we got, because now, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go to number 8, The Sage, from Pictures at an Exhibition. This is actually a live track, so I always like hearing groups that are so good instrumentally live.
Sure, especially prog, they're always great instrumentally.
So let's see what we got here. Just a pretty track overall.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I was, again, really impressed with Lake's acoustic, the way he's able to kind of shift from chord to chord, very pleasant sounding
He's been
melody.
a star so far, Trey, through 3 songs, for sure.
I guess whenever you're quarterbacking, all the guitar work, vocals, writing it,
You freaking better be, right?
Emerson, again, was able, he came in here a little bit, but it was more a Greg Lake effort here, man. Again, not a ton of lyrics, but the lyrics that are here, man, are kind of more philosophical in nature.
They are. They're more, I guess, sensical than the last track. I carry the dust of a journey that cannot be shaken away. It lives deep within me, for I breathe it every day. So he's been somewhere and you can't forget it.
Yeah.
And you and I are yesterday's answers. The earth of the past come to flesh, ended by time's rivers, to the shapes we now possess. And then there's only one more verse.
Yeah, so then they, kind of introduces in that second verse this other, person.
Yep.
And then I kind of like how they kind of merged, or how Lake merged that, because at the final verse, come share of my breath and my substance, and mingle our streams and our times, in bright infinite moments. Our reasons are lost in our rhymes. Man, that was pretty poetic.
It was
poetic final verse.
Usually at RTTC we don't give you the lyrics of the entire song.
Yeah.
We just break them down, but it's just easier on this one to give them to you. So you get all that along with some beautiful instrumentation and arrangement there. So that was a nice track as well.
No, man, I did enjoy that one quite a bit, man. Showing the different sides of ELP, and we're already now to track number 7. We got Lucky Man from their self-titled record in 1970.
Yeah, went to 48 in the U.S., written by Greg, of course, when he was 12 years old. Song contains one of rock music's earliest instances of a moog, Trey? Moog.
I think it's Moog. I always say Moog, but it's Moog. Yeah.
See, I always get tripped up.
Well, that's why I was glad you took it. So
I was like, I'll just mess it up and ask you. So, which was recorded in one take by Emerson. He noted that during the recording of the solo, he was just jamming around and was devastated to learn that it was going to be used in the final version of the song without having a chance to record another take, as all the other tracks had already been used. Unlike several of the songs on the album, which use a distorted fuzz bass to sound like a guitar, this is an acoustic ballad. Couldn't really perform it this way live, as there were double track vocals and the guys played multiple instruments in the recording. So kind of like the Beatles got into with Revolver and Peppers, especially. Couldn't really do this live.
No, and the origin of the song, as stated by Lake, is that it is the first song he wrote when his mother bought him a guitar at the age of 12. With the first chords he learned, he wrote an acoustic version of the song, and the song came to be used on the record when they only needed one more track.
I wonder if he's like, hold on, man, I got one from when I was 12.
He played that version. The rest of the band, they weren't feeling it, or they were like, I don't know if this is going to fit on the record. Lake then worked on it in the studio with Carl Palmer. Lake added numerous overdubs of bass, triple-tracked acoustic guitars, electric guitar, and harmony vocals until it sounded like a record. I think that is cool, though, how he took something from that was so,
and then
personal to him.
Got in the lab, man, and got it done.
It was like, all right, so let's get into this one. Number 7, The Lucky Man. What a lucky man he was. I gotta add that already right away. This is that was definitely my favorite track.
Mine
up to this
too. I've been
point.
highly impressed with this,
Dude.
man.
Me too, man. Like the previous tracks we've heard have all been good in their own right, but this one, man, just kind of took it to the next level. Just lyrically, I thought it was kind of the coolest story we've had so far, and also instrumentally, very very beautiful. And production, the panning at the end on that synth solo by Emerson was pretty tight as well.
Yeah, that was top notch. If that's number 7, I wonder what we're in for.
No, and I thought the chorus was fantastic, layering and bringing in those harmony.
Oh, what a lucky man he was.
It starts off talking about this guy had white horses, ladies by the score, all dressed in satin. So we're thinking of a man that's got riches, power, money. So you think, okay, yeah, what a lucky man he was. Then second verse, they say a gold-covered mattress on which he was laid. So then they kind of put up flags like, okay, well, what's going on here? And then it notes he went to fight wars for his country and his king. Of his honor and his glory, the people would sing. And then you're like, all right. Then they come in with the kicker, man, in verse 4.
A bullet had found him. His blood ran as he cried. No money could save him, so he laid down and died. Oh, what a lucky. So, I mean, until they hit the bullet part, I started envisioning like medieval times. Almost like this king being brought into his court, into his castle, but then the bullet found him. So it's just a modern day king, so to speak, but a great track.
No, and then they hit us with that outro. I see this ends this record out, man.
Yeah, with 6 songs on it.
Very strong tune. This will definitely be in contention for my favorite track at the end. And now we're going to go to number 6, Jerusalem, from Brain Salad Surgery.
Yeah,
that's
get better than that, right?
An album name from 1973. Speaking of the Moogs, this is the debut of a prototype Moog Apollo, first ever polyphonic music synth.
Wow.
Though a single was released for the song, it failed to chart and was banned from radio in England.
Good old BBC.
They would not accept it as a serious piece of music, the band claims, and Palmer later expressed disappointment over this decision. Come on, BBC.
He said, we wanted to put it out as a single. We figured it was worthy of a single. In England, they have this format where 4 or 5 people have to approve it before it gets played on the airwaves. It's a very old-fashioned way of doing it, but that's the way it was being done at the time. I think there was some apprehension as to whether or not we should be playing a hymn and bastardizing it, as they said, or whatever it was being called at the time. We thought we'd done it spot on, and I thought that was very sad because I've got a jukebox at home, and that's a piece of music that I've got on the jukebox. So I actually thought the recording and just the general performances from all of us were absolutely wonderful. I couldn't believe the small-mindedness of the English committee to vote these things onto the radio or off the radio. They obviously didn't even listen to this. It got banned, and there was sort of quite a big thing about it. These people just would not play it. They said no, it was a hymn, and we had it taken the wrong way. So as we know in our experience from Beatles stuff, from all kinds of stuff getting banned, all it does is juice it up, and everybody wants to hear why'd this thing get banned.
Yeah, so as you were saying, Dad, this is a traditional English hymn, and that's why this is the shortest song on this list, only 2:45. Lyrics come from a poem written by William Blake, a 19th century English romantic poet. So.
Oh yeah, I've memorized lots of his stuff. No, I haven't.
All right, well, let's get to it. Let's do it. Famous hymn, man, and ELP putting in the work on this one. I don't know why the BBC was so.
I don't either. We're both Christians, and I think there's nothing wrong with putting other instrumentation on
Yeah.
hymns. Now, I think in the modern church we've taken it way too far, but this is not any sort of disrespectful thing at all to me. I think it's just grandiose, which is actually good.
Well, and it kind of makes me think too, because you hear that Hammond organ, that kind of makes you think of what these big cathedral-like
Yeah,
churches
exactly,
going
man.
in there, man. And I also want to shout out Carl Palmer. I haven't talked about him much, but I thought his drumming, especially in the last minute, where it really kind of got ramped up, and I think he used a good word, just grandiose,
Yeah.
a bit epic at times. Gave it a bit of a slick finish there.
Agreed.
So I enjoyed that, man, and I was the more I was reading about it, kind of here as the song was going, quite the song, I guess in England, just across the entire country. So it's kind of cool that ELP was able to put their own version of this on there. So short and sweet track, and I thought they did a great job.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now that's going to take us to number 5 here. We got Trilogy. I told y'all Trilogy is going to be making another appearance. We got the title track from the album of the same name. This is going to be our first longer tune,
Yeah, it
clocking
is.
in around 9 minutes.
Yep.
So expecting a bunch of instrument diversity up in here, maybe some soloing. So let's get it. Trilogy from the album of the same name, coming in here at number 5. And this is, I think, the first song we've really had where it was that full-on kind of what I expected, prog rock
Yeah, I agree 100%.
going in, man. So lyrically, just getting out of that out of the way quick. I enjoyed it, just a story, classic breakup. But instead of there being bitter feelings, this guy's trying to let this gal down easy, saying, you know that at the end of the day, we weren't really meant for each other. But
Yeah.
I got confidence you can go out there and kind of find somebody else. He notes, at the very end, you'll love again. I don't know when, but if you do, I know that you'll be happy in the end. Interesting, Dad, because at the start, it was almost like a classical piano showcase, man,
Yeah.
the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was a nice way to start it. It's an epic prog rock
Mm-hmm.
song. The lyrics take on secondary importance. It's all about showing off the instruments, and I think in this genre, that's kind of what it's all about. I'm not a huge
Mm-hmm.
fan of prog rock, but I appreciate it for what it is, the art form that it was. And in that, this is, this really shows off. I think
Yeah.
they've already shown off their ability. This was one that kind of put it all together.
No, yeah, this is definitely, I think, the highlight of Emerson. We had him on that
Yeah, I
that
agree.
synthesizer solo, but on this track, he was kind of the showcase A1 guy, and I'm kind of with you, Dad, in the sense where I got to take kind of prog rock in doses.
Yeah.
But I always, whenever I hear songs like this, I always respect the craft, man.
Definitely.
And I really, it was almost like a controlled chaos is the best way I
Yeah,
could.
exactly.
Because that once that synth hit and the drums were going in, man, I thought the groove section here by Lake and Palmer just set a great foundation for Emerson to kind of experiment, play around with his synthesizer, and then just bringing in the lyrics here and there as well was a good touch, man. So impressive track here as we now move to our number 4 song. We have Knife Edge, 5 minutes long, from that self-titled
Yeah.
album in 1970. Again, it has a little bit of a classical influence on here. They kind of sample an instrumental section from Bach, and on a organ rather than a piano. And Lake provided the song's lyrics,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. So.
With assistance from Richard Fraser, member of ELP's Road Crew. So that's surprising. Get everybody involved. I
Hey,
like it.
Richard, man, he was probably like, yeah, be sure to hit me up with any royalties
Yeah,
on this
exactly.
too.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
So Knife Edge, let's get to it. As our number 4 track, I think here, Lake's vocals, this is my favorite vocal performance of him. He just sounded, for lack of a better term, he just sounded cool on this one, man.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, I thought it was really good, man. I much enjoyed it, and I liked it a lot better than the last track.
Yeah.
Not that the last track
No,
was bad.
I know, I hear you. It had a bit, obviously, this was, rooted in kind of the prog rock thing, but also a little bit more just basic kind of hard rock. I think in the verses, I guess, themselves. And I kind of like the scene that Lake was setting on this one. It starts off, "Just a step," cried the sad man. "Take a look down at the madman." That verse ends, "Only fear breaks the silence as we all kneel, prayed for guidance." And then after each verse, you'd get the verses were more quiet, and then you'd get the big organ coming in, or whatever the case may be, with the loudness. Again, he notes in verse 2, "Take a look down at the madness." So now, not the madman, but the madness. "Sing the praises of the hallowed. Our machines feed the furnace. If they take us, they will burn us." And that kind of comes up again, I think, in verse 3, where it says, "When the flames have their season, will you hold to your reason? Loaded down with your talents, can you still keep your balance? Can you live on a knife edge?" Name of the track, man.
Yeah, awesome stuff, man.
Again, Emerson, big highlight here, especially that organ. I thought the song progressed really well too, probably because it was so rooted in the Bach and that,
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I agree 100%.
not much better people you could take influence of. But now we're gonna move to our next track here. Again, from the live record "Pictures at an Exhibition," we got number 3.
Yeah, The Great Gates of Kiev from 1971.
All right, The Great Gates of Kiev coming in, man, and that live performance, as you could hear from the crowd going wild at the end. They were pleased with this track.
They were.
Started off right away. They have a couple tracks that literally first second we're just going into the lyrics, into the sound. Others where they build it out for a minute or two, so it's kind of interesting. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
In that regard, started off a little bit more kind of traditional. A little, kind of rocky.
Yeah, that's how I thought. I was like, oh, this one isn't going to play as I thought it was. But then I knew it was 6.5 minutes, so I figured we'd get into the little nuances.
And then went through the first couple verses, man. Again, I thought it was a pretty strong vocal performance by Lake here. And, we kind of mentioned in the reaction, sometimes I like it. He'll go from singing all, crisp to then just yelling and really making sure that passion comes forth. And here, again, kind of an epic track, "Come Forth from Love's Pyre." "Born in life's fire, in the burning, all the yearning for life to be." He notes, "And in pain there will be gain, blast a new life." So even in the struggles of life, you're going to gain something from yourself.
Exactly.
And then we get the first concept of the gates of Kiev, I'm assuming here. "They were sent from the gates, ride the tides of fate." And then it notes, and again, "In the burning, all are yearning for life to be." Then we get this about almost
2.5 minutes.
Yeah, of instrumental break. Organ going in.
Yep.
I'm not a huge fan of organ solos, man, but even so, Emerson, you can tell he's talented. And
yeah, agreed. I echo all that you just said. Yeah, exactly.
And then, as you mentioned, Dad, it kind of had a guitar coming in with a bunch of loudness, different almost distortions and
effects. Yeah, it almost sounded like the violin bow, like Jimmy Page had jumped on stage with him. Man, that's what it sounded like to me.
And then we just kind of went back in the track out as we went back to that same sound that we had at the start, man.
Yeah, and so we got a little outro. "There's no end to my life, no beginning to my death. Death is life." All right, man.
That's very proggy, man.
Yeah, that's very proggy.
Respect the tune and the craft and the musicianship on this one. Won't end up on my favorite tracks, but I did like the live performance aspect of it for sure. And now we're gonna go to number 2 on this list, and it's one continuous piece of music split up, just into 3 different songs, if you will, from Trilogy in 1972. We got "The Endless Enigma Part 1," and then I might butcher this, Fuge, yeah,
who knows?
Something along that lines, and then we finish it off with "The Endless Enigma Part 2," and then Osmond had to say it's a suite in 3 parts. First section begins with the sound of a beating heart, an effect sometimes claimed to have been created by the Ludwig Speed King bass drum pedal of Palmer's Ludwig Octoplus kit. However, that is not the case.
In the sleeve notes of the 2015 CD/DVD reissue, the remix engineer is quoted as saying, "I discovered it is actually Greg playing muted strings on his bass guitar." And I'll say, from the guy that does all the research on our vids, although, on this one we have a lot of stuff provided by Osmond, but this is where you get a lot of gold on this older stuff.
Yeah.
Years later on reissues or liner notes or interviews, it comes forth and like, oh, that's what that was. So it's always good. to have those things.
No, that's a great point. So we're just gonna, listen to it all in a row, and then give our thoughts on it. So number 2, let's get it. The word epic's thrown around a lot, but that was really an epic track.
I actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
I did too. In the span of their prog tunes, this has been my favorite I've heard thus far, man.
Yeah, we talked about it during the reaction, but in case you weren't watching that part of it, the first verse, why do you stare?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that I care? You've been misled by the thoughts in your head. I thought that was pretty good, man.
I did too. The lyricism on this one, I think, was in contention for strongest that we've heard.
Which you don't get
a
lot of times. Not all the time, but a lot of times in prog rock, because the instrumentation and the arrangement's more the star.
Exactly. Or sometimes the lyrics are more, as we've experienced a little here, more abstract.
Yes, sir.
Fantasy-led at times. But this, man, I like that later on... Lake notes, why do you think I believe what you said? Few of your words ever enter my head. I kind of just got a vision of our protagonist being a guy that marches to the beat of his own drum, so to speak, and is very kind of analytical and curious about the world. He notes, I'm tired of hypocrite freaks with tongues in their cheeks, turning their eyes as they speak. They make me sick and tired. This first portion we had, and this might not be what he was on, but Palmer, I was very impressed, almost on like some bongos or something.
You pointed that out. I think it sounded certainly something of that nature.
And then Emerson really going in on that Hammond organ at the start. I thought Lake's vocal performance again was very, very strong. I've been impressed with him throughout this entire list. We kind of have I don't know if you call it a chorus, so to speak, but notes, are you confused to the point in your mind? Though you're blind, can't you see you're wrong? I thought that was a little clever line. Won't you refuse to be used even though you may know I can see you're wrong. Please, please, please open their eyes. Please, please, please don't give me lies. This man's seeking out the truth here. And then we transition to the second part, which is just a 2-minute instrumental. Again, Fuge, whatever the case may be. Gorgeous piano by Emerson.
Great, man. Yeah, well, my favorite piano performance on here so far. And then we go to the third part of the suite. The Endless Enigma Part 2. Much shorter. I mean, it's only a little over 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
Each part was played, though the play was not shown. Everyone came, but they all sat alone. The dawn opened the play, breaking the day, causing a silent hooray. The dawn will break another day now that it's done, and are we going to see the reason why I'm here? So that's the whole lyricism, all of it. I just read it since that's how they chose to end this entire 10-minute epic. Those are a little more abstract, I think.
Well, yeah, kind of. I think maybe he's getting at the whole. Each part was played, though the play was not shown. Everybody, kind of. I think Shakespeare even touched on this. The whole all the world's a stage type of thing. We're all parts.
Right, for the first time in RTTC history, pulling out
you like
Shakespeare.
That? I had
You're
to.
You're a Renaissance man.
These some smart folks. I had to try to get up to near their level.
I'm not going to try to play in that ballpark.
But yeah, man, just a lovely tune here, and I kind of like. This was about maybe 10 minutes of runtime. The fact that they put the last half of the song into 2 parts, almost 2 different songs. I don't know. It didn't seem long to me. Maybe that's
I think that's why. No, I was thinking the same thing.
Good choice there, Osmond, as your number 2 pick. And now we go to the number 1 pick, Take a Pebble. And this is off of their again, self-titled debut record. We've already had Knife Edge and Lucky Man. Lucky Man, really enjoyed that one. So now we're going to go to Take a Pebble. 12 and a half minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is where we're going to have to buckle up. 12 and a half minutes, boys and girls. So let's see what we got here.
Number 1, let's get it. All right, y'all. Take a Pebble, taking the top spot of this list by Osmond, man. And honestly, I can see why, just for how well crafted and
it's
arranged,
grand, man. Yeah,
this whole tune was, and I mean, 12 minutes, only 3 verses really, and the highlight was obviously the musicianship here. I think what stuck out to me is how easily they were able to shift from different sounds and styles.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It could have been several songs into one, just the way they did that, which is kind of the signature of prog rock. So. Yeah, I thought it was a fitting way to end. It was obviously not about the lyricism, as you mentioned on this one. It's all about the arrangement
But
of the music.
even in that, I thought the lyricism again was a pretty strong, man.
Yeah,
Had something to
made sure.
say.
Yeah, they made sure, even in 3 verses, they had something to say. Just take a pebble and cast it to the sea, then watch the ripples that unfold into me. My face spills so gently into your eyes, disturbing the waters of our lives.
So kind of a downer of
Yeah.
a tune, man. This relationship has been broken. He goes on to mention in the second verse, talking about the memories being kind of just broken and torn away. He says that letters of your memories are not real, and then we get that after this second verse, we go into just kind of a bunch of different types of sounds coming in. We have, as you mentioned, Dad, almost like a hoedown like
Yeah.
thing in here. We have like a just very quiet acoustic guitar by Lake, and then we just have a gorgeous piano arrangement by Emerson that takes up a lot of the second half of this song, man. Almost like he's playing 2 pianos at once. It was really impressive. Then we go almost into like a little jazz type of
Correct.
breakdown, man. So they were bringing a lot of influences on this one, and then we kind of brought back and finished her out with the final verse that ended us off on the track, man. Very epic song from a very talented, skilled, and epic band, and that's now going to take us to our favorite tracks. For me, I gotta go Lucky Man. That one still just stands out to me
Yep.
as being great. I gotta go The Endless Enigma.
You're copying me. I got those 2
trilogy.
so far. Yeah, I thought that trilogy was top notch.
And then, man, it's
Third
tough.
one's hard.
I mean, Take a Pebble honestly might take it for me just because of how freaking talented and great it was. But Knife Edge I liked a lot too. As well, I thought that was pretty strong. And then Jerusalem was kind of tight too, even though it was only a little under 3
Yeah, I
minutes.
was going to throw a shout out to that's my honorable mention. So what are you going with? What are you going with the third one?
Gosh,
I got your 2. What are you going with the third one?
I guess I'll go Take a Pebble.
Take a Pebble. All right. So I will go on my third one with. I think I'm going to go with A Time and a Place, the very first track we listened to.
There
That
you
was
go,
a really good
man.
one.
Yeah, no, that was
Like I said, shout out to
It's a big
Jerusalem
one,
and
man.
even the Sage. So,
yeah. Well, I guess as we're wrapping up, Dad, as having never heard any ELP, I think what just struck me is not only obviously they're all top-notch musicians, but their ability to play a lot of different styles of music
Yes.
in a short amount of time. Because the first record was 1970, and maybe our latest record we had on here was 1974 or something. And I guess that reminds me as well to go back to the start to kind of note, just due to time constraints of these top tens, especially with a prog rock group who has longer songs. Osmond noted some tunes that he would have included. He said Tarkus from the record of the same name would certainly have been on the list if it hadn't been 20 minutes plus, making it impossible for the rest of the list to be good. And he has some other songs due to time constraints he had to cut.
Yeah, Karn, Evil 9, First Impression, Part 2 from Brain Salad Surgery. Fanfare for the Common Man and Pirate, both from Works Volume 1 and 77, and Memoirs of an Officer and a Gentleman from Love Beach 1978. So
All right.
he said that is that was the main problem of just trying to put this together. So if you're an ELP fan and like, why is he not having that? That is why.
No, there you go. And just a very, very impressive, strong showing, just all across the board, man. Especially Emerson, he was kind
Yeah.
of my standout because he hit not only the piano, but he was also had a lot of standout moments on the organ and synth as well. But let us know your favorite ELP albums and tunes down below, y'all. Thanks as always, Dad, for the research. Thanks again to Osmond.
Yeah,
Be sure
this one was good, man.
show him some love in the comments below, man. And until next time, thanks for watching, happy listening, and we will see you.